Hi, I'm Jay, and welcome to the 8th Cinema YouTube channel. I started this channel because I saw that there was a gap in video essays when it comes to many films that were formative to me and my own work, so I decided to roll up my sleeve and create them myself. And I genuinely hope that these video essays will spark an interest in whoever happens to come across them as well. I recently finished reading Beloved by Toni Morrison. It is a truly heart-wrenching ghost story set in the south of the United States. And after I read this book, my appetite for research took me to the internet, and I delved into some similar works. Some sources deem Beloved to be a contemporary rendition of the Southern Gothic genre. And I was like, Southern Gothic? Never heard of it. But it seemed to be something that would suit my spooky sensibilities. So I plunged into the rabbit hole, and here we are now. After weighing the many possibilities to introduce this channel with, I set on the Southern Gothic series. In the upcoming few weeks, I will be discussing the subgenre through the lens of some films I am personally most fond of. But since this is my first video, I will start with a quick introduction of how the Southern Gothic has been taking shape within the realm of film and television specifically. Southern Gothic was originally a literary genre which originated in the 19th century. Even though it is related to both the English and American Gothic, Southern Gothic specifically examines the American Southern condition. Set in a region which is haunted by its turbulent and violent historical realities, the Southern Gothic genre provides a medium to process and come to terms with these. Characteristics of the genre include the treatment of the grotesque and violence lying beneath the tranquil surface of reality, the decay of human morality, the secret and turbulent histories of the South, including slavery, which are then also connected to its haunting themes of the supernatural. Central writers within this literary genre were William Faulkner, Harper Lee, Flannery O'Connor, and Zora Neale Hurston. In his 1951 novel Requiem for a Nun, Faulkner famously wrote that the past is never dead. It's not even past. And this is exactly the attitude which encompasses the Southern Gothic spirit, where seemingly past and buried dark matter tenaciously continues to haunt and affect the present condition. The Southern Gothic on screen still considers the same themes as its literary equivalent. The suppressed, violent, and grotesque undercurrents lurking beneath the mundane surface of humanity, the decay of morality, the resurfacing of secret and burdensome histories, and the exploration of the supernatural. Yet, displaying the genre on screen amplifies an integral characteristic of the genre I haven't gotten into yet, and that is the genre's intrinsic sense of place. Southern Gothic narratives are often set in old, small antebellum towns, sometimes former plantations, and swampy bayous. Spatiality is integral to the Southern Gothic, as the name already implies. This is perhaps what has attracted me most to this genre, specifically on screen. Its sense of place and nature are inextricably connected to the genre's haunting tales. At times, landscapes even serve as reflections of the suppressed and haunted human conditions of its characters. The Southern Gothic genre has an innate ability to allow one to visually and audibly experience its incredible use of diverse and complex textures. It is quite frankly an engulfing experience that is almost romanticist in its approach of nature's forces, and which consequently also emphasizes the genre's eerie themes. It will come as no surprise that many renditions of the Southern Gothic on screen are book to film adaptations, given that it was originally a literary genre. Examples of this are To Kill a Mockingbird, which was the 1962 film adaptation of Harper Lee's novel, and of course Beloved, which was adapted to a horror film in 1998, starring Oprah Winfrey and featuring a bone-chilling performance by Tandy Newton. Charles Laughton's visually striking The Night of the Hunter from 1955 was adapted from the novel written by Davis Grubb, which was actually based on a true story. The 1971 Southern Gothic film classic The Beguiled, directed by Don Siegel, was based on the 1966 novel written by Thomas P. Cullinan. Other contemporary renditions of the Southern Gothic in cinema include the independent films Daughters of the Dust and Eve's Bayou from the 90s. More recently, there was also the 2005 horror film The Skeleton Key starring Kate Hudson, and the extensively awarded Beasts of the Southern Wild from 2012. From my perspective, True Blood proved to be a great example of Southern Gothic television, with its compelling use of location. Set in fictional Renard Parish, the story plays out in the antebellum town called Bontemps. It is swampy, mossy, and dusted with old plantation homes. The series deals with a broad spectrum of supernatural entities, including but not limited to vampires, werewolves, witches, and fairies. The supernatural elements in its narrative were effectively used to underline and explore its mortal characters' dark and suppressed urges. True Detective was another excellent exemplification of a Southern Gothic masterpiece on the small screen. The series explored the macabre undertones lurking between the seemingly moral surfaces of its characters and contemplated on the decay of humanity through its murder mystery narrative. The series' first season was set in Louisiana's humid, untamed bayous and backroads, which gorgeously elevated the series' hauntingly grim themes, managing to visually pull its audiences into its enigmatic and complex storyline. But this only applies to the first season. I can't really speak on the following seasons since I stopped watching the second and haven't seen the third one at all. American Horror Story's popular third season, Coven, could also take a spot on this list. It is an exciting exploration of the Southern supernatural through the use of a witch narrative. The series was set in New Orleans and literally brought back some of the city's most known historical figures, including the spellbinding and powerful voodoo priestess Mary Laveau, who was a true force to be reckoned with, portrayed by Angela Bassett, and of course the horrifying and racist high society serial killer Delphine Lalaurie, portrayed by Kathy Bates. Another recent pop culture phenomenon that could arguably be categorized under the genre is Beyoncé's visual album Lemonade, released in 2016. The visual album drew cinematic parallels to Judi Dash's Daughters of the Dust from 1991 and paid homage to the Southern Gothic through its use of landscape and location, including the bayous and former plantation homes. It also touched upon themes pertaining to the genre, allegedly chronicling the past shadow sides of the artist's seemingly perfect marriage, while lyrically and visually addressing and creating awareness for dogged issues of race in America, not only touching on African American experiences, but the Black woman's experiences specifically. Now let's get to the nitty-gritty. Over the upcoming month, I will be releasing one video essay a week, analyzing one of my favorite films that is part of the Southern Gothic. Each selected film will be used to examine at least one characterizing theme of this largely overlooked and unnoticed genre. Next week's cinematic subject will be Cassie Lemon's directorial debut and classic, Eve's Bayou from 1997. This is an independent film that gained a surprisingly large following at the time and still continues to do so. Set in Louisiana, it is a coming of age film with supernatural subject matters, following a young girl's epiphany pertaining to the flawed grown ups in her life. The week after that, I will release episode 3 of the series, which is a video essay on Beasts of the Southern Wild from 2012. This is a story told from the perspective of a young girl named Hush Puppy. Together with her father and her Louisiana Bayou community, called the Bathtub, Hush Puppy is bound to face the forces of nature that are threatening their home and livelihood. For the last episode, I selected the breathtaking cinematic masterpiece Daughters of the Dust from 1991, directed by Judi Dash. This is another independent film which gained a large cult following in recent years, also due to its 25-year re-release in 2016. The story is set in 1902 and follows the Peasant family, who are descendants of former enslaved people, who are preparing to leave their old lives on one of South Carolina's sea islands to settle and start new lives on the mainland. I hope that this first episode has sparked your curiosity enough for you to return in the upcoming few weeks to see how I've dissected these films. Let me know if there's anything I've missed in this video or if you disagree with anything. If you have any suggestions, I'm always open to at least listen to them. Give this video a like if you do like it, and I will see you soon. Thank you so much for watching.